Don't get any easier, does it? The Blades have just got absolutely battered 6-0 by Arsenal. It's another game where we've lost by five or more goals. Another game where we've conceded five or more goals at home. I'm just going to read a little stat that Match of the Day have posted. Sheffield United are the first English league side to have conceded 5+ goals in 4 consecutive home games. We're the first English league side. That's all leagues. That's not just the Premier League. That is all leagues. As I've put in the title, we are becoming a laughing stock, or we are a laughing stock. We just are, aren't we, right now? And I never thought I'd see the day where Sheffield United would become a laughing stock because we've always had a manager that wouldn't ever let that happen. And Chris Wilder, for me, was always a manager that you wouldn't think that would happen to. And I don't know what's happened. I don't know whether it's something in the dressing room. I don't know whether Wilder's tactics aren't going down well, whether Wilder's just getting it wrong, whether the team's nowhere near good enough, which we already kind of knew that anyway. But the first few games under Wilder, even before sort of Brereton Diaz came in, because he's a massive miss and he's not even our player. Same with McAtee, he's not our player, and he's potentially our best player this season. It's not looking good. It's really not. It's so bad. And the ridiculous thing about how bad it is that we're still on the same points as Burnley. So no one's going mad about Burnley saying how bad they are. Everyone's talking about how bad we are, and understandably, because we are getting battered week in, week out. You can kind of take it more from Arsenal because the thing is, what I've noticed about Arsenal is I thought Arsenal were a really good side until you see these players in person and you see how quickly they move the ball. We're just nowhere near it. We are so off it. It's unbelievable. And some of the players that I thought are top end championship players, maybe bottom end Premier League players, are just getting absolutely hung out to dry by these world class players. I'm not saying that Havertz is a world class player. Don't get me wrong. There's a few of their players that aren't. Saka for me tonight just absolutely tore us apart. Whoever it was he was up against just tore us apart. But it weren't just Saka; it were all over the shop because balls were coming in from the left, from the right, through the middle, everywhere, and we just could not deal with it at all. And like I said, I've seen us get beaten before under Warnock in the Premier League by fours, and I don't even think fives. But the Premier League is so much more brutal than it used to be. Yes, it's just a different style of play to what it used to be. It's so fast that the football is so quick, and like I said, we've just not got the players to deal with how fast the game is these days. Most of our players are slow, and that is being kind. That is being really kind. There's a lot of players that I think just should not have been on that pitch tonight because they are not Premier League quality. One player in particular, I hate to say it, I really like the guy. I thought that he was going to be a really, really good signing this season. I thought that if we do go down, he's going to be a very good player in the championship. But Austin Trusty for me tonight just tore a new one. And I don't necessarily think that's all his fault. He was out of position a lot. He was way off the pace. But at the same time, I just feel like Wilder hung him out to dry tonight, especially in the first 10, 15 minutes before Osborne came on. That should never have been a four at the back. Never in a million years. You are playing against some of the best players in the division, if not the world. Again, how fast they move the ball. Austin Trusty he got annihilated by Saka. And then Ben Osborne coming on, he's not the quickest in the world, but he's got it up there, and he was getting caught out by Saka. He's just a very, very good footballer. He just is. It made me laugh at one point where we booed Saka, and it's like, are we booing him because he's a good footballer? That's just ridiculous. It really is. I don't know if there was anything else to it, but I think he was just a really good footballer. We were booing him because he was so good. Ridiculous, ridiculous. But yeah, let's talk about the lineup first and foremost. I was in the sandwich shop beforehand because it was a bit of a mad one tonight, getting home from work and getting into the match as soon as possible. So we're in the sandwich shop just before, and I was speaking to a lad in there, and he was like, "I'm just trying to work out what the formation is," and I don't think any of us really knew what it was until we saw it in person. Gus Harmer playing on the left hand side, ridiculous. McAtee played on the right. I can understand that. I can understand us going 4-5-1, which we did. Um, but the problem that we had was not only did we get absolutely annihilated down the wings, both wings, um, we're also not picking up the runners. So as I go through these goals in a second, you will see what I'm saying. There was men just stood in the middle of the box, and if you're going to go for it at the back, Vinny Souza and Norwood, who we started with, have to be deep, either deep, kind of just in front of the defence, or they've got to be picking up the runners, and we just weren't. There were runners coming from everywhere into the box, and I'll quickly go through some of the goals because I don't really want to be talking about this all night. But we could have been 2 or 3 nil down even before they scored in the fourth minute. That's how embarrassing it was tonight, and it was a sign of things to come. How easily they got rounders and balls into the box. Like I said, because we could have gone down a few goals early, and we did actually go a few goals early, but we could have gone even earlier than the fourth minute, which is when Odegaard scored. It was it was a great worked goal down the left hand side. Rice cuts it back, and then Odegaard just stood in the middle of the box all on his own, just to fire the ball into the corner. It wasn't a hard finish either. There was no one challenging him, and he just rolled it into the corner because obviously, but Gerbage has come across that side to kind of marshal that post as the ball's coming across. He's not expecting Odegaard to be stood in the middle of the box all on his own, just to tap it in. Shocking, absolutely shocking. The second goal is an own goal from Jaden Bogle. Saka absolutely leaves Trusty for dead. And this is one of the times, it happened a few times, but this is one of the times where Trusty just got outpaced, outthought, and outpaced. Gets down that right hand side, and Saka fires the ball across the box. Very, very good cross. It's gone straight through Gerbich's legs, and then Bogle just can't sort his feet out and somehow bundles the ball backwards into his own net, and that is 2-0. Very, very bad start. I'm not sure what minute that was. It was very, very early. Might have been the 10th minute, might have been earlier. It was the 13th minute. Okay, we did 12 minutes without conceding 2 goals. Then Martinelli scores. I'm having to look at my notes constantly because there's so many goals going in. I can't, and they were all very similar. Crosses into the box, low crosses into the box, and great finishes. The third one was an overload on the right, or on the blades right, their left. Martinelli plays a 1-2 with, I think it might have been their left back, can't remember his name. And then it's a deflection off an L. It's unlucky. Gerbich has got this covered, in my opinion. It's coming straight at him. He dives. It hits an L, the back of his leg, and ends up in the back of the net. But things like that are going to happen when you've got so much time and space. We've got bodies in the way, yes, but occasionally deflections do happen. And when you've got, like I said, so much time and space to fight to sort your feet out and then shoot, that don't happen for us. We don't have that time and space to create those chances and shoot because we've not got good enough players. Just that's just how it is. Slightly unlucky, but at the same time, you make your own luck, and they certainly did early on in this game. The fourth one was just as embarrassing as the rest. I think it's Souza plays Anel into trouble. Anel's trying to play his way out of trouble, gets caught on it by, I can't remember who it was, and then Martinelli nicks it off him. He does all he can to try and stop Martinelli going through, which is fair play, but he shouldn't have got himself in that position in the first place. Martinelli goes down. The referee obviously would have given a free kick and a booking. I'm trying to think what happened now. Yeah, Martinelli plays. Oh, sorry, no, it's not. Martinelli plays Havertz in. It must have been someone else that NL brought down. Plays him in, and it's a fantastic finish. from Havertz. It just is. Like, I don't rate him as a football. He's a good footballer, but he can be really, really poor at times, especially against the better teams. But obviously, against the worst teams, he finds the bottom corner with a fantastic finish. I don't blame Gerbic for this one. It's just a great finish into the bottom corner. And Gerbic is huge. So obviously, it's going to take him longer to get down. And it's in the bottom corner. And that is four. That is four. The fifth goal, again, Bakary Saka. Bukayo Saka, sorry, my brain's gone already. It is 11 o'clock after all. Saka gets in behind Osborne. It's a fantastic little bit of play. Osborne gets caught. All day long, we were trying to see him onto his right foot. And this is the thing with Saka. In Sunday League, that's what you're taught to do. Put them onto their wrong foot. But with Saka, he gets around that back and he puts in a great ball with his right foot. He's not just left-footed, guys. He can also cross the ball with his right foot, believe it or not. And actually, when you're playing against this Sheffield United defence, your right foot doesn't need to be that good because he plays it across. Again, Rice stood all on his own in the middle of the box. It's a good finish into the corner. I think Rice ran over to the Sheffield United fans as well. It's probably a little bit from that West Ham game a few years back at Bramall Lane where we beat them 1-0 and they had that really, really late VAR call against them. He's probably still holding on to that a little bit, which is all right, fair play to him. It's a good finish, great play from Saka. It's one of them where it's like, yeah, Osborne got done, fair enough, but it's so easy. It's so easy. And then we're going to half time, and I was one of them. I was booing the players. It was shocking. I wasn't just booing the players though. I was booing the management team as well because Wilder got this wrong, completely wrong from the off. Why is a central defender who's very slow in Austin Trusty having to mark Saka all on his own? Why? That should have been five at the back. It should have been three centre backs. We should have been tight. We should have been twoing up on Saka. Should have been twoing up on Martinelli on the other side. And we should have had defensive midfielders in and around. We did for most of the game. We were playing so defensive, so in our own half. But when they got into those pockets of space really easily, and it felt like they had 3-on-1 at times. They were that good. But we were just that bad. I don't know whether we were just awful or they were fantastic or both. I think it was both. But we are very, very lucky that they brought Saka off because they were not the same team in the second half when Saka came off. And actually, their only goal was, you've got to say, from distance. It was a good finish by Ben White, but it was from distance. Maybe Gerbic was a little bit unsighted. He gets a hand to it. It's a great strike. But a centre-back on his left foot in the box, it's one of them where you think you should be allowed to let a centre-back on his wrong foot shoot from distance and you should be fine. But like I said, I think it were a combination of a good strike, Gerbic maybe being slightly unsighted, and yeah, the rest is history. That is 6-0. I think the only players that come out of this game unscathed are probably some of the players that came on at half time. And I think the only reason why they became unscathed is because Arsenal had kind of checked out. They weren't anywhere near as good as they were in the first half. And yeah, I think they just took the foot off the pedal. They were going through the gears really, really fast in the first half. Second half, they stuck it in neutral and just carried themselves home. Like I said, the Ben White goal was decent on 58 minutes. But again, like 64th and 64th minute, they bring on three players. And then it's kind of like just passing it around. We could barely get the ball off them. We had a few attacks in the second half, a few strikes on goal, well, at goal, nowhere near the goal, that were terrible, if I'm honest. Asula, great run, pushes it to one side, hits row double G in the cop, maybe higher. I'm not sure how he hit it that high, but it's yeah, he did well to get himself into that position. Jaden Bogle cuts in on from the right hand side and tries to go with the outside of the foot into the corner. It's nowhere near. He almost toe pegs it. That's how bad it was. Harmer in the first half goes through one on one. It's given offside in the end. I don't know if it was onside or offside because the highlights didn't show me that, and obviously I was at the game. So yeah, he should have put that away though. It would have been nice for it to have at least gone to VAR and to seeing if he was offside, but he telegraphed it for Raya to just go down and make an easy save. I'll quickly just go through some of the stats. So expected goals at probably 70th minute was 0.14. Then we had two shots and it only went up to 0.26. That's how bad it was. Arsenal's expected goals, bearing in mind they scored six, 1.95. That sounds very, very low to me because Arsenal got into some really good positions. I actually, other than early on, other than the goals, sounds ridiculous to say, but other than the goals, I don't think they had too many clear cut opportunities, but didn't matter because the goals that they made were fantastic and took really well. 81% possession for Arsenal. I'll be honest. If that was more like 70% possession, Arsenal would have probably lost this 8 or 9-0 because there were so many people around me saying, tackle them, get stuck in. I think if you get stuck into Arsenal and try and um, press them high, yeah, you might get one or two sloppy passes and you might be able to get onto it and try and create something. But they're just going to pass it round you and would have probably, like I say, would have probably conceded two or three more goals. And 6-0 is bad, yes. 5-0 is bad, yes. But if that's an 8 or a 9 or a 10, people are talking about this for the rest of their lives. Like, this is going to be on every sort of classic Premier League show. This 6-0 defeat, yes, it's really hard to take. It's horrible watching your team get absolutely dismantled by Arsenal, but 6-0 will not be remembered in the memory banks. It just won't be. It probably will for us because of how bad it was. But the Newcastle 8-0, we will never forget that. That was a very, very terrible, terrible day in Sheffield United's history. This could have been a worse one tonight. If one, Arsenal didn't take the foot off the gas. Two, we did play better in the second half. I'm not sure how much that was to do with us or to do with Arsenal, but we certainly did play better. And I said that I wasn't going to do much talking in this video, and I've ended up doing it. So I want to go into the comments and I want to see what you guys are thinking because I don't want to do all the talking tonight. I don't want to do any talking if I'm being honest. But we'll go through some of the comments. Apologies. I'm going to go through the I'm going to try and go through some of the members first because we've got so many comments tonight. Justin Rice is saying, absolutely spineless. We were better under Hecky, let's be honest. I can't 100% say I disagree, but I do disagree. Do I? I don't even know anymore. I thought it couldn't get worse under Hecky. And the reason for that wasn't because we were terrible at the back. We were bad at the back, but I feel like we are worse at the back now. But we never got forward under Hecky, and that's the thing that killed me the most. That we never ever looked like scoring a goal under Hecky, especially the Arsenal away game just spoke volumes for me. And yes, it was one less goal than what we conceded tonight, and it was away from home. But you kind of not tonight, clearly, but you kind of always feel under Wilder that we're attacking more. I don't know where this is coming from. Maybe it's coming from the first part of Wilder's second reign, this reign. Maybe it was the early part of that reign that's clouding my judgment right now. I don't know. I'm really struggling right now because we are getting battered week in, week out. We've got some terrible records that we're breaking, like I said at the start of the video. But was it worse than Heke? Is it worse than Heke? I don't know. We've lost the passion completely. Need a good clear out in the summer and rebuild around the youngsters. A few seasons in the championship required before we're ready for this level of football. Yeah, it's so depressing knowing that we are nowhere near Premier League standard and we are playing in this division. Uh, like I said, the only players that really stood out for me, players coming on, George always offers that passion. George, probably one of our best defenders, and was on the bench. I don't know whether that says more about the fact that he's just coming back from injury. I think it does. But in hindsight, he probably needed to start at right wing back tonight and Osborne at left wing back, in my opinion. And we did neither. Um, I think our blaster looked good, looked very very comfortable on the ball. Was spraying passes back and forth. He looked good. He got a little bit lost in the second half, but that's because Arsenal had all the ball. Asula looked good when he came on, was putting it about. McBurney just didn't have the legs to chase and chase, which it's not McBurney's game. Like he's playing up front on his own. Um, what can he do? What can he do? Um, who else came on? I'm struggling to remember who else came on now. It's all a bit of a blur, to be perfectly honest, isn't it? Who else came on? We had where away? Oh my god, can't even see the players that came on. There we go. Andre Brooks. It looked okay going down that left hand side. I wanted to see him run at him more. He did once or twice. Once he just kind of lost his feet and didn't know where the ball was. But yeah, again, these players we need to build around these players, like my man's just said. Let's move on to the next one. It would have been more if we didn't rest. If he didn't rest Saka, that's what's embarrassing. We brought off our best player in McAtee because we were out of the game completely, and they brought off their best player because it was like, oh, let's give him a rest. Let's not embarrass Sheffield United too much. Um, it's a harsh reality. I think that's talking about me saying we are a laughing stock, and I hate saying that. I really do. Steve York, thank you very much for your comment, mate. We've never seen such a spineless bunch of imposters wearing red and white. It's got to the point where our own fans are mocking the club on social media. Never been so embarrassed to be a Blade. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say to that, Steve. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Um, Mike says we're a total embarrassment. Wilder has to be questioned at least a bit. Defensive has gotten worse. Defense has gotten worse. Give him till May, then a complete reset style of play, formation, etc. If it takes a few years, so be it. Come back and actually compete. Hecky was the problem. Was he? Wilder has lost four by five. Hecky lost 3 by 5. Get Wilder out. How can you start Norwood in 2024? Fair enough. I'm not. I don't want to see stuff like this. I really don't tonight. We're talking about the players. We're not talking about the owner. We know how bad the side is. We know we didn't recruit well enough. We don't need to keep saying it over and over again. But Gaza S2, I appreciate your comment nevertheless, mate. Need to sign a plumber as all the goals were leaking. If we don't laugh, we'll cry, won't we, guys? He got it wrong tonight, Wilder. Trusty got smoked by Saka. He had to go 5 at the back. Absolutely. Oliver Knight, don't know what to say, mate. Shocking. No passion, and I'm lost. I don't think it has ever been this bad. How awful. I feel like we need to just use our youth now till the end of the season. Wilder's lost it. Yeah, it's bad. It's really, really bad. John White Smith, welcome to the stream, mate. Well done, Nick. Really appreciate the fact you've made this broadcast. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It is hard to do these. It really is. But I've contracted myself to do them, so I'm going to do them nevertheless. I've done them for about 5 years now, and it never gets any easier when you have games like this, but it's certainly a lot worse than it's ever been. Sheffield United are lucky that Arsenal haven't got a striker. We probably are. We probably are. How have Arsenal got a striker? Not got a striker, by the way. Got all these great midfield players, but no striker. Ridiculous. To be fair, the last time we played against an Arsenal striker, Eddie Nketiah scored 3 against us. So yeah. Um, you get a lot more cash being in the Prem these days as well, and we spent nothing. Yeah, absolutely true. Harvey Meeks, welcome to the stream, mate. Very, very bad. It's beyond a joke now. I'm with you, mate. I'm completely with you. Totally agree on Trusty. Totally. It wasn't Trusty's fault. He's not a left back. What was Wilder thinking? Should have started Osborne in a back five. Completely agree. That's exactly what I said earlier. Trusty was hung out to dry by Wilder, in my opinion. I love Wilder to bits, by the way. Everybody knows that I love Wilder to bits. We all do from previous. So just caveating that, I'm just criticizing what I've seen tonight. I don't dislike Wilder at all. I love the man to bits, and but I'm starting to feel like this was a bad move for him coming back. I really do. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Gaza, embarrassing, too right. John White Smith again thought it was either arrogance or stupidity to start with a back four. Crazy against a mobile team like Arsenal. Too right. Wilder is not the future. He'll be fired by next Christmas, and then the new guy will need yet another season to get us playing proper football. Could be the case. Nigel going to take 2 seasons to get over this. You're not wrong, mate. Scott Wilder said in his interview, we may now see more youth in the side, which for me is a blessing, which happened tonight, didn't it? I find it odd how Andre Brooks went from playing every single game, starting every single game, to he's not had a start since January, I think it is now. So I don't know what's happened there, whether we burnt him out a little bit too much early doors, and or whether he's just not being on form, and that's what Wilder thinks. It's his opinion. My opinion, being here before with Wilder, never should have gone down this road again. That's what Paul thinks. Tonight was men against boys. Steve thinks absolutely agree, mate. I don't think it was necessarily men against boys, just very, very good players against not very good players, especially in the Premier League. But yeah, that's the same thing, isn't it? A lot of fans saying Wilder out, but who will want to take us on with the recent results? It's a good job to get. Going down, parachute payments, decent championship side. I'm not going to say top championship side because right now I'm not feeling it, but decent championship side. I think that's a good project for someone. If Wilder isn't doesn't end up being the man, I want him to be. I want Wilder to be here all the rest of the time. Me being a Sheffield United fan, if we are playing like we did under Wilder before, but we are currently not. We were slightly better in the second half. I'm amazed it was only 6. Me too. Me too. I stayed until the board went up, and I left when the board went up because my wife said to me, "When are we leaving?" And I'm like, I said, 80th minute, we'll think about it. And then it got to 84th, 86th, 88th, and I'm like, all right, we'll go at 90. And yeah, we did beat a lot of the traffic, to be fair. And but I couldn't be one of those people leaving early. Like, I'm not, no disrespect to those people at all, because I felt it. I felt like I wanted to leave at that point, but it's just not in me. I just can't. Like, I just can't leave that early because I don't know. There's just something inside of me that always thinks that I don't want to miss a goal, even if it's just a consolation goal, because I always expect United to come back. I think it's those Warnock days where we never knew when we were beaten, and I just always feel from then on that we're gonna come back, or not come back, but at least I don't want to miss a goal this season. So yeah, I wouldn't want to miss one, even if it were just a consolation. Saka is light years in front of our lot. To be fair, he's one of the best players in this country. He's one of the best English players we've had for a while. So I don't really think we can compare our players with Saka, because at the end of the day, Saka is worth over 100 mil. Like, we will never see a player that's worth over 100 mil, actually. We did have Kyle Walker, and at one point he probably was worth around that. But you see what I'm saying, you get me. Chris, nice to see you again, mate. I expected this result, but I feel the summer Wilder will have a big shake-up and players will move on. For me, I have my dad to blame being a fan. I deserve compensation being tortured this much. Same, same. My dad don't even go to games anymore. He got me a season ticket, got me hooked, and now he don't even come to games anymore. But fair enough. Um, who wins the league in your opinion? I couldn't care less. Sorry, Harry, you didn't want to hear that. I'll throw it. Let Klopp have it. Let Liverpool win it. I don't care. I don't want to see Man City win it yet again. I wouldn't mind Arsenal win it. To be fair, I quite like him. Quite like Arteta and all the players. Just not really fancying it tonight, to be honest. There's so many comments, guys. I really do appreciate all the comments. I just can't go through them all. We're halfway into it now. Oh, sorry, half an hour into this stream now, and we are on 20 past 11. So let's just pop a few more on screen before we go. Please like the stream, it really helps the channel out. Also, subscribe if you're new around here. That also helps us out massively. Number one has ever seen such a one sided, no one has ever seen such a one-sided game in the history of professional football. Possibly, possibly. Rip it up and start again, Jimmy Blades Rumble says. Possibly. But that's going to be Wilder's job, isn't it? Wilder's here for another season. So the Prince will give Wilder another crack at the whip. And I think I do think he deserves it. He's done a great job for the Blades. Maybe not so much Middlesbrough recently, maybe not so much Watford, but he's probably earned one last crack at that whip. I think if he has a bad start, I think the Prince will get rid of Wilder early doors. But I love Wilder so much, and I just want Wilder to I just want him to do well for the Blades one last time. I really do, because I think he'll take it really, really hard if he doesn't. If he gets the sack after not doing too well next season. There's so many comments, guys. I really appreciate it. Steve York, it should have been Warnock. Could have been Warnock. I'm not sure. It should have been Warnock, in my opinion. Um, we'll be back for the Crucible next month. Fair enough. Fair enough. I remember when we was a team that used to be feared, but now teams can't wait to play us. And I don't even think we'd been that good in the championship either, to be honest. This is not great, is it? There's so many comments. I can't get through them all. I'm sorry, guys. Brooks and Arblaster made us stronger and Bulldog. Again, possibly so, or was it just that Arsenal took the foot off the pedal? No quality, no passion, no chemistry. Agreed, Jack. Um, Darren Moore for the top job. No, thank you. No, thank you. Sam Jenkinson, we aren't good enough. We need to consolidate in the championship for a few seasons. I don't think we can. Like, we're going to get a load of money. We need to use it wisely. And yeah, we need to go straight back up, in my opinion. And we can go straight back up. I don't think the championship is going to be as strong as it is this season. So it's probably a good time to go down with Burnley, possibly. Well, Burnley definitely coming down, and also probably Luton as well. So we'll be in a good position. Nick Wilder has the 2016-2020 period in the plus column, but a massive amount in the minus column. I think you're right. I do think you're right. Oh, short memories. I hate Wilder. He's quit on us. I don't forget. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. No shot on target for the Blades as predicted. Yeah, that was an absolute shocker. It really was. Not sure I want us to come up after watching that. You're telling me. You're telling me. To be fair, I think the lead side would beat the Sheffield United side right now, if I'm being completely honest. Cole McDonald, welcome to Street, mate. Wilder's a decent bloke, but just not good enough for association football. Don't think he'll work again after this. Wow, Cole. Fair enough, mate. Yeah, come on, guys. Come on. Goonie Hill sounds like a gooner. So if he's telling you to like it, you need to like it. Someone mentioned Steve Evans as manager. Me, I'd take Nick Montgomery and Brian Dean. I'm not sure about Brian Dean, what he's doing at the moment, but maybe Monty is one for the future. He's done well. I haven't actually seen what he's done in Scotland at the moment, but he certainly did well in Australia and deserved the job in Scotland. 3 years of Prem money, not capitalised on, nothing to show for. Worse than these embarrassing losses. Yeah, possibly. Right. Hi, Nick. Afraid I can't see Wilder as positively as you. I hope he goes. Fair enough, Anthony. Fair enough. Each to their own. Um, I think I've still got Wilder tinted glasses on from the amazing times we had under him, possibly. Um, just to go straight back down. Dear me. We also going to have a massive clear out. Norwood, Bash, Egan, etc. will all be gone. Maybe so. Harry is a Arsenal fan who put the ball in Sheffield. Nah, Sheffield. Sheffield. That's the reason why I'd rather get relegated, to be fair. Wilder hasn't demonstrated his lack of where uh, with all this at the level. I think he's done. Good show, Nick. Sorry about my negative comments in the past. No problem. No problem. I appreciate that. I really do. We all it's a hard season for us all. Don't need to apologize. It's a hard season for us all. We're all really struggling. And yeah, I'm struggling just as much as everybody else. It's tough. And having to come on here and talk as well is it's really tough. And try and think of creative ways to make content. It's horrible, especially when people kind of just want to forget about the games after we've been battered yet again. So yeah, no problem at all, Anthony. I appreciate that. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Make sure you like the stream before you go. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know it's a late one. I know that we're all hurting right now. Me as much as everybody else. It's tough. It's a tough thing to go through. What I suggest you do is just try and forget about Sheffield United for a bit. Yeah, we come back stronger, don't we? After all, we are massive blades. We don't support Sheffield United for the glory. We support Sheffield United because this is our club. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care.